right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Josh, and welcome inside the Sports Cave, the Fan Cave. We're here talking sports here every night at 412-575-2600. We're live tonight on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. So if you're driving around, want to talk some sports, call right now, 412-575-2600. This was the day that a lot of people thought would be the day that Aaron Rodgers would show up. Turned out to be the day, first day of OTAs. He signed his contract, $22 million plus incentives for 1 year. And he took part in organized team activities, whatever they may be, because this is spread out over the course of 3 weeks. They'll have another session on Wednesday, then Thursday. They're not mandatory, so I don't know if I would expect Aaron Rodgers to be here all week, but he was there today. And then you looked at different things that they were doing. And I remind people, it is May 18th, and we're still 4 months away from playing any football, but they're going to experiment with some things. And that was an evidence when you looked at their offensive line and who they lined up today. They have Troy Fautanu, again, day one of OTAs, at left tackle. There's a lot of speculation he would move from right to left tackle. And then you have playing left guard, kind of a surprise here, Mason McCormick, although they like his flexibility. They lost Isaac Seumalo, so it was McCormick who moved from right guard to left guard, at least today. Frazier at center, and then Spencer Anderson, who may be more equipped or better comfort level to play right guard than left. And then at right tackle, it was Dylan Cook, who played left tackle last year. You did not see Broderick Jones, who was there, but he did not participate in that, OTAs today. He's been coming off a neck injury that we're not sure the extent of it. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. I'm not sure how healthy he is, or, in 4 months from now, will he be able to be the starting left tackle? That's unsure at this point. And then, the first-round pick, Maxi Hanachor, he's there. He's a first-round pick. He's a rookie, just like Jennings Dunker. Those guys were not involved in the first day of offensive line and the roster that we saw there. So we'll see how this goes. And again, this is May 18th, which means on Wednesday you may see something else completely there. Same is true of quarterback. Rodgers, of course, ran with the first team. Then it was Will Howard ahead of Mason Rudolph. After that, it was Will Aller, who you'd expect not to get as much right off the bat just because he is a rookie, but he is a third-round pick who they like very much. This will be interesting how it goes, and it opens up the question, how do the Steelers proceed at quarterback now that Rodgers is here when it comes to the regular season? Their goal is to be competitive this year, and certainly Rodgers is the best person to do that. If they're going to be competitive, it has to be him at quarterback. But if you have that mentality, then you also would like a veteran backup in case he gets injured. He will be, after all, 43 years of age in December. So that would also make you think that Mason Rudolph is the more seasoned guy. I mean, we saw him in 2023, 3 consecutive wins, that last one on the road in Seattle, and then they went to the playoffs. But Mason Rudolph got him there, and he was put in ahead of Kenny Pickett at the time, which was the end of Kenny Pickett. Point is, he has the experience. Would you trust, Will Howard or Drew Aller after that? That's going to be one of the things you certainly focus on when it comes to training camp and when we do preseason games. Who is there? Who gets playing time? Who emerges? Can you go with a guy who's never played before as a backup to Aaron Rodgers, assuming that he gets injured throughout the course of this season? Most quarterbacks do. He did last year. He missed one game, but he came back with that wrist problem and still played. Now, how will this be in September when the season starts? Who will be the backup? Will they take 3 quarterbacks? Most teams never go with 4 quarterbacks, but if there is a case to be made, it might be the Pittsburgh Steelers holding on to Mason Rudolph as your insurance policy and then keeping those other 2 guys around just in case you need some help down the road, and it could be next year before they get their first opportunity to play. So there's a lot going on here. As far as evaluation is concerned, Howard and Aller are not going to get the opportunities to get that most likely during the regular season. So this preseason will be very important for both of them. 412-575-2600 is the number. The Pirates are off tonight. They are in St. Louis to begin a 3-game series coming up against St. Louis. Then it's on to Toronto. Then they come home for the Cubs, and that is a 4-game series. And they made a move today. Jostinson Garcia, the man they call the password, was recalled. That's because of an injury to Ryan O'Hearn, who's going to be out for about a month now, 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how this goes. So they need some pop in the outfield. They can't rely on Jarrett Triolo to be that guy. In the last 2 days, he started in right field. I would imagine Garcia will get some time there. He had 3 home runs in a game recently down in the minors, and he's got a 918 OPS in his last 10 down at Indianapolis. So they expect to get some offense from him. But the other question will be what happens to the pitching situation when Jarrett Jones gets back, because that's going to be a big one. He gets into the starting rotation, who comes out? And what do they do with Bubba Chandler if he doesn't get things going? We'll talk about all this and more coming up. Once your calls at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here live on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Christian, who is Seawolf PGH. He does a good job following some of the minor league affiliates. Down on the farm, home run Lonnie White. Remember, he was a 2021 second-round pick of the Pirates, kind of, forgotten about. 3 straight games now with a home run, an absolute breakout of a season. He has 10 home runs between high A and double A. And that's another kid who down the road, who knows, and who knows how long it will take for some of these guys to get up there. Tamar Johnson is somebody we've been waiting on for quite some time, and he's not having the best of seasons down there. You hope he gets it together, because ultimately he was the guy they were counting on when he was drafted back several years ago. All right, got a lot of calls, so let's get right to it. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. We'll begin with our number one Cochrane Go One Better caller of the night, and that's Jimmy in Point Breeze. Jimmy, you're on. What's up?
Hey, Bob, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, I just wanted to get your opinion. Long term, do you think Max Ionichor, do you think he's the right tackle or the left tackle? Because I feel like he's got the potential to be an all-pro tackle. But, they're going to have to work him in. And where do you think that goes?
Well, first of all, I think he's a little bit of a project. And I say that with a lot of respect, because he has been on the fast track. He hasn't played football all that long, Jimmy. But he's come a long way. And because of that, they see the potential, how he's adapted to it. So I think to start, he'll be at right tackle. I really believe they want to put Fautano at left. Again, this is all assuming that Broderick Jones won't be able to go. It's not really clear what his situation is. He was out there today, had the helmet on, had all of that, but I don't think he took part in any of those drills. So you wonder about his future. They did not pick up his 5th-year option. Ionichor, I think it'll be easier for him at right tackle. He's actually played both, a lot of right. Can he be a left tackle? Well, Fautano does the job there, and I would say no, you put him on that side. But it was interesting today that Dylan Cook was over there at the right side, because I just don't think they're going to throw rookies in at any juncture here to start this thing. They'll kind of ease their way in, but make no mistake, they're going to be counted on when this season begins. All right, back to the lines we go, and we have Cliff in Washington. Hello, Cliff, how are you?
Okay.
Cliff? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
You're on, Cliff. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, this is a Cliff from Washington. That's Rogers, the main man over there. Rudolph, the only reason he's sticking around there, you keep him right playing $4 million a year. He's related to the Rooney. Give that Howard kid a shot. He won a national title. In another division he was in before he went over to Ohio State. He won that division over there. He's a big kid, got a nice strong arm. He's been there for a couple of years. Let him play.
His arm is not as strong.
He would be on the squad if he wasn't related to the Rooneys. Come on,
he's not related to the Rooneys. I don't know where you came up with that.
Years ago, I used to be a season ticket holder. I'd be pissed off right now if you're playing games like that with the amount of money I'd be paying.
Listen, bottom line is Howard, like Aller, has never played in the pros. Howard, unlike Aller, does not have a strong arm as Aller. Aller, unlike Howard, has not won in big game situations yet. So there's decision-making, there's footwork. There's a lot that comes with being a quarterback in the NFL, which is why a lot of guys who are drafted never make it. The chances of you making it as a 6th-round pick are not good. The chances of you making it a 3rd-round pick are better, but not good. So there's a lot yet to be had. But they have to keep accumulating quarterbacks to ensure that they have, who knows, somebody down the road who can be eventually their guy that they can rely on year in and year out. They can't possibly go year after year with not knowing who their quarterback is as a starter. It leads to too many complications, and it also reduces the amount of draft capital you could put in other areas. So it's a big thing for them to figure out. And the only downside, you have Rodgers here. He had 24 touchdowns and 7 interceptions last year. Those generally are pretty good numbers. But he is older, and he couldn't get out of his way at the end, and that made it easier for some of these teams to get to him. When you have him, and assuming he plays most of the games, you're never going to get a chance to watch Howard or Aller play. that's why I say the possibility of 4 quarterbacks potentially could exist there, even though I think they generally want to keep 3. All right, let's go back out to the lines. We have Chuck in Uniontown. Hey, Chuck, how are you this evening?
Well, thanks again, Bob. Do you fear that this is the start of a pirate freefall that will put them under 500 and out of contention? Or do you think they can rebound from this and weather the storm and get back into contention? I mean, 24-23, I guess most people hope to be better at this time. But 13-13 at home is not what playoff teams can do.
Especially when you get swept twice. And I know there are good teams in the Cardinals, especially the Phillies, but you're right, Chuck. They got to do better at home, no question. It's certainly still May. I also use the same analogy I'm throwing at the Steelers. It's May 18th, you got to try some things. But in baseball, you're still almost 2 months into the season now. So at some point, separations will occur. These next 10 games are going to be important. St. Louis for 3, Toronto for 3, and then 4 against the first-place Chicago Cubs. Now, if they hold their own there, fine. That's okay. But if they should, out of those 10, win 3, lose 7, all of a sudden you're going to be down deeper and you're now into June, and things don't get easier. So, yeah, it's a very important 10-day stretch. Michael in Beaver Falls is our next caller. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Bob. How you doing? You look pretty sharp in that green.
It's not easy being green, Michael, I can tell you that, but go ahead.
I heard you got second place for hair.
What's on your mind?
Hey, you know what, Bobby? Steelers are going to have a great year. You know what? We finally have a pretty good offensive line. The older guys and the young bloods are going to gel, in my opinion. And I think the Steelers are going to go all the way. However, they're not going to the last dance. It's going to be, what do you call it, Las Vegas. But however, the Steelers are going to kick butt.
All right, Michael. You're always positive. Appreciate that. They got a long way to go, and they're not going to be looked at as a team that will contend for a Super Bowl. They want to take it just like last year. You try to win a division. If you get in there, you got to make good in the playoffs. They haven't done that in quite some time, and I'm sure that is a #1 priority. The other thing I would say is you have a new coaching staff, not just Mike McCarthy, but he's brought in a lot of pretty good coaches that have been around the NFL. If there was a weak spot for Mike Tomlin, it was his eye for coaching assistants. I don't think their staff was ever all that good, coordinators or position coaches. I think now, who knows what this means? I mean, game planning, all of that stuff will be different. How will it go? Will it make everyone around the offense and defense better because of the coaching they get? We'll see as time plays on. JD is in Beaver. He's now on the air. Hey, JD, what's up? Hello, JD, are you there? I see you're listed, and we went to you, but I don't hear you. So let's go to Rick and Moon, who joins us. Hey, Rick, how are you tonight?
I'm good, Bob. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I came in on the tail end of it when you were talking about most teams keep 3 quarterbacks, some keep 4. Is there a new rule this year with the practice squad where you can keep a veteran for the practice squad?
Well, they've increased the amount of.
Were on that.
Yeah, they've increased the people who can go on there. A lot of veterans, and they can activate from there. But when I'm not sure the exact rules when it comes to being first-year players or quarterbacks who don't have, some time in the league. I'd have to check that for you to be sure before I talked about it. But I do know the roster spots on practice squads have expanded, and you do see more people on there. But you can always be plucked from somebody else's roster. Somebody could come in and take somebody. That's why I think it'd be dangerous for them if they really like Will Howard, as they say, and if they think Drew Aller has upside, it would be dangerous to put any one of them on there. Now, could there be an injury that puts them on IR for a little bit somewhere along the proceeding? Sure. There are ways that guys can hang around even without playing. But for now, I just want to see what happens when they get to training camp and in those preseason games. And we have 3 of them, and 2 of them will be at home against the Packers and Jets, and then at Buffalo, and we'll have an opportunity to see that new Highmark Stadium. Got a tweet here from Jess F., and he says, why in the NHL do they call both penalties and embellishment on the same play? And that's something I've talked about before, and I quite frankly don't have a good answer for you, JS. I think if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Embellishment means you're trying to act as if you were fouled in some way. But the bottom line is to me, it never could have both. When it's both, I get annoyed when I hear that call. It's either a penalty or it's not. And if the guy's embellishing, you don't need a penalty to embellish. He's embellishing. That should be the penalty without having called one on the other team. I think that's frustrating, and every time I see it, you don't see it all that often, but when it is, very difficult. By the way, Buffalo and Montreal are in overtime. I'm not sure if we have a final on that one. When we come back, we'll talk about it because on the line is a trip to Carolina and the Eastern Conference Finals. The West gets underway with Vegas and Colorado. That should be a good series as well. We'll be back with more right here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. All right, welcome back. We continue, and the Montreal Canadiens have eliminated the Buffalo Sabres. It's a team I like in Montreal. I thought they'd win on the radio today. Actually, I said 3-2 Montreal. Alex Newhook in overtime. He has been a thorn in the side of the Buffalo Sabres, and he gets a big goal in overtime. Montreal had a 2-0 lead. Buffalo fought back, tied it, forced the OT. Buffalo season ends. Montreal heads to Carolina. Also, Jared Barton, our producer, for those of you interested in this practice squad rules, you're allowed 17 players now. 10 of them have to have 2 or fewer years of experience in the NFL. So that would, qualify both quarterbacks. They're eligible for that. 6 could have any sort of NFL experience. 1 is an international passway. And you can protect 4 players of those 17 from Tuesday until game week each and every week. But Monday is a day where they can be plucked from your roster. So that's how that lines up. All right, let's squeeze in more calls here. We have Harry in Penn Hills. What's up, Harry? How are you?
I just want to touch base on, get your opinion on the cone. I think it's kind of ridiculous. It reminds me of back in the day when I got into an argument with Greg Braun over the Freak Show. I mean, can't we come up with something a little bit better here?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's just something that those players came up with, and like it or not, I think a lot of people like it. Actually, my wife now has cone earrings, believe it or not, so she's going to wear those next time at the game. Whatever people gravitate to, as long as the performance is good. I really don't care about cones or anything else. What I do care about is whether or not they're going to be able to be competitive to the point of winning a playoff spot, wild card or division. And I don't think the division chances are very good. Wild card, you better get it together here. Again, these next 10 games are very big for them. Very good competition, and most of them are away from home. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Our apologies to Jim in Greentree and Jim in Bon Air. Can't get to you tonight, but we'll be back on the air tomorrow night at 10:35, so hope to see you then. That's going to do it for us. Bob Pompeani signing off right here in the Fan Cave. Thanks for joining us on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Remember, we do this show 7 nights a week. Don't be a stranger. Good night.